As dawn breaks over the Carolinas, the 5600 quietly sneaks down the mountain trying to get back to Spencer Yard undetected. Unfortunately, the 5600 is detected. Down south in North Carolina, everyone gets ready for another day on the rails as the freight motor heads out to collect the day's freight interchange. The freight motor finds Chadson, who says, "Hey amigo, get me down!" Having returned the loudmouth trolley to his natural habitat, the Mexican Diesel collects the Automax automobile car he will take back with him. The Diesel couples to the car with a bang, knocking some of the cargo loose. The Mexican Diesel retrieves his caboose and heads south. The Cybertruck is confused. The Black 5 has arrived at London Victoria Station after landing at Gatwick Airport and is figuring out her next connection. The standard 410-wheeler rolls into the engine facility after a long round trip and finds Scotsman. The standard 4 asks Scotsman what he did with the special water wagons. Scotsman says not to worry about it. The H1A Hudson arrives in Salisbury with a passenger train as Chadson re-enters service. Chadson rolls up next to the H1A and asks when they started allowing Tim Hortons products to pull passenger trains. The Hudson says nothing, but is quietly plotting to show Chadson just who is the donut in this situation. City of Bath, trying to make up for lost time after getting diverted to a cornfield, races through Spencer Junction, but is routed through the yard. City of Bath has derailed on the switches after entering the yard way too fast. Now how will the Cornish Riviera Limited get through? The Plymouth goes to get the crane as the yard goat just stares blankly. Scotsman thinks to himself how funny it is that an engine like that could claim to do 100 miles per hour. The L1 backs down to the coaches for the local passenger train. The engine hopes to get out of town before any more stupidity rains down from above. A arrives in Salisbury. The L1 thinks the engine looks like a... The 5600 rolls into Spencer Junction with a friend following close behind at high speed. The big boy yells, "Get back here, you little..." The asks the L1. The L1 says there probably aren't many of those in Atlanta, but she's welcome to look. The L1 also glares angrily at the narrator for, "Hey, this wasn't my idea. Ask a certain museum in Virginia." The departs. The Black 5 is catching a bus across London. The J50 returns from Pennsylvania with a few souvenirs. The J50 enters the yard but sees the sheriff and heads out the other end, declaring that the sheriff cannot have the J50's kumquats. The Cybertruck has made his way to Spencer Boulevard and is looking around as Chadson rolls up. Chadson thinks the Cybertruck is adorable, adopts it as his pet, and names it Bob. Even with all the smart technology on board, Bob is not sure what to make of this. The Pennsylvania Railroad T1 storms through town. So does Super Trooper. The Black 5 has made it to Paddington Station and is looking for her next connection. As the big boy enters Atlanta, he has lost sight of the 5600 and begins to look for her. The 5600 realizes that hiding behind an empty flat car is a bad idea. A northbound passenger train arrives in Salisbury with a Princess-class Pacific-type locomotive on the front. The engine is named Princess Arthur of Connaught. Princess Arthur is handing the train off to the Standard 4 and heads to the engine facility for a little rest. City of Bath has been re-railed, but sustained some damage in the accident and will have to stay in Spencer for some repair work. City of Bath wonders how the Limited will get through now. City of Bath sees Princess Arthur, and knows Princess Arthur once pulled the Cornish Riviera Express as part of a locomotive exchange program. City of Bath calls out to Princess Arthur, pleading for her to see the Limited through. Princess Arthur is apt to try, but knows there is no way to get to the Riviera from America by rail. The Ivat Mogul suggests Princess Arthur try West Virginia. They seem to have a little bit of everything out there. Princess Arthur is up for a little adventure. She couples to the train and heads for West Virginia. The Black 5, having presented her ticket to the guard on a GWR train, settles in and regales a small diesel with tales from North Carolina. The diesel asks how one gets there. The sheriff is still staked out on the south side of Spencer Yard, but he starts seeing Dash 8s everywhere. Sheriff Panko tells Dippity to get him out of here. He's way overdue for a vacation. The Dash 8s don't know what to make of this. The H-1A Hudson returns to Salisbury, but not with a passenger train. The Hudson has a special delivery for the trolley line. The Hudson deposits the trolley into the interchange and slips away. Spot sees a new friend at the interchange. Spot introduces himself. The new trolley also introduces himself, calling himself Comrade Gord, and says he is pleased to meet Comrade Spot. Spot has a bad feeling about this. The 5600 passes back through town, northbound, still with an angry Goliath behind her. Princess Arthur heads down the Clinchfield Railroad and on to West Virginia.